You thought mercy would bind them to you. You believed that by showing patience, by excusing their failures, by extending a hand instead of a blade, you would inspire loyalty. But power is not nourished by kindness. It feeds on fear, on necessity, on the cold calculation that if they betray you, they will pay. You were too forgiving, and that is why you were used. Every man claims to value generosity, but generosity invites hunger. The more you give, the more they take. The more you excuse, the more they trespass. They do not see mercy as a gift. They see it as weakness, as hesitation, as a door left ajar for their own ambition to slip through. If you would rule, you must accept that gratitude is a brief candle, quickly extinguished. Fear, by contrast, endures. A prince who is feared need not worry that his favors will be forgotten. Fear is a chain around the heart. It makes betrayal too costly. You hesitate because you still imagine that men are noble. You cling to the fiction that they are ruled by honor, that they will repay leniency with service. But this is not how the world moves. The world is not bound to ideals. It is bound to appetite, and appetite does not forgive. Look carefully at those who smile in your presence. Some are sincere, most are not. They smile because you hold power. The moment that power falters, the smiles vanish. In their place comes the hunger for what you have. Power is a stage, and loyalty is often nothing more than a costume worn for convenience. You must decide. Will you be the one who commands or the one who pleads? Will you hold the knife or will you feel its edge against your own throat? There is no middle ground. A ruler who clings to half measures is a ruler already undone. Do not misunderstand me. Cruelty for its own sake is as foolish as naive kindness. But when you act, act decisively. When you strike, strike so that no one dares to rise against you again. Leave no doubt about the cost of treachery, for a prince who is feared for his justice will find more security than one who is loved for his generosity. This is the architecture of power, an invisible scaffolding built of fear, respect, and necessity. Tear away any one of these supports, and the whole structure will collapse. You may wish it were not so. You may hope for a gentler world, but to rule is not to live in the world you wish for. It is to master the one that is. You were too forgiving. That is why you were used. Learn this. The next time they test your limits, do not retreat. The next time they trespass, do not warn. Punish, and punish not in anger, but in the cold silence of necessity. Let it be known that you forgive little and forget nothing. For a ruler who is slow to forgive is a ruler they dare not betray. You thought you could negotiate with the instincts of men, that your reason could appeal to theirs. But reason is a thin veil stretched over darker compulsions. Men are not persuaded by appeals to virtue. They are driven by the pull of advantage, by the fear of loss, by the promise of gain. They will sit at your table, nod to your words, swear allegiance to your cause, but in their hearts, they are measuring what they might take from you when your guard slips. This is not cynicism, it is clarity. A ruler who believes otherwise rules in shadow, blind to the movements around him. When you show mercy without limit, you invite predators. Mercy is a luxury only for those strong enough to enforce it. If they think you are soft, they will test you. If they sense hesitation, they will circle like wolves. And when they strike, they will not warn you. They will not thank you for your kindness. They will not pause in remembrance of your forgiveness. They will strike for the throat, because they understand what you have tried to deny. There are no permanent allies, only shifting calculations of interest. You imagine loyalty is born of affection, but affection is brittle. It bends in the wind. The soldier fights not because he loves his commander, but because he fears the punishment of disobedience more than he fears the enemy. The minister serves not because he is grateful, but because betrayal carries a cost too heavy to pay. This is the currency of power, not love but consequence, not friendship but fear. You have lived too long in the illusion of safety. You have mistaken calm waters for still depths. But beneath every surface lies turbulence, unseen currents that can pull a man under before he realizes he is drowning. Do you think those around you are content? Do you imagine they sleep peacefully while you hold the reins? No, they dream of sitting where you sit. They whisper, they calculate, they wait. And all the while, they smile. A ruler who survives is not the one who trusts freely, nor the one who doubts everything, but the one who observes without sentiment. You must learn to read the face that does not change, the voice that flatters too easily, the hand that hesitates before it extends. Every gesture is a signal, every silence is a strategy. Those who seem harmless are often the most dangerous, for they have learned to conceal their hunger. If you would endure, you must stop hoping for fairness in an unfair world. Stop expecting gratitude for the burdens you carry. Power is not a covenant, it is a contest. You hold it only so long as others fear to take it. The moment they believe you lack the will to defend it, they will act. They will not hesitate, because in their hearts they have already justified the betrayal. They will tell themselves you were weak, that you deserve to fall. There is no virtue in being devoured. There is no nobility in being remembered as generous if you are remembered only as a casualty. Those who survive understand that to lead is not to indulge the moral instincts of the private man. It is to become something harder, sharper, more deliberate. You cannot be as others are, because you are not as others are. They may follow their appetites. You must command them. To command is not to please. To command is not to be loved. It is to hold steady when others waver. It is to carry the weight of decisions that no one else dares to make. And when the moment comes to act as if there is no alternative, strike as if you were striking for your life, because you are. You think there is still time to reclaim the loyalty of those who have betrayed you. You think you can reason with the ambitious, soothe the envious, reconcile the disloyal. But disloyalty, once revealed, is a cancer. Cut it out, or it will spread. Punish it, or it will multiply. Mercy has its place, but not in the corridors of power, where hesitation is an invitation to be overthrown. A ruler who hesitates at the edge of necessity invites his own destruction. Do you imagine history will pause to grieve for your softness? History does not mourn the weak. It writes their names in the margins, if it writes them at all. If you wish to endure, learn to mask your emotions. Let your face reveal nothing of the storms within. Speak gently while you prepare the knife. Smile while you calculate the fall of your enemies. There is a theater to power, and every movement must serve the script you write for others. But in the privacy of your own mind, strip away the masks. See the world for what it is, a field of predators and prey, where every kindness has a cost, and every alliance carries the seeds of its own betrayal. You were too forgiving. That is why you were used. The next time they test you, remember this moment. Do not beg for loyalty, demand it. Do not hope for peace, impose it. Do not imagine you can buy devotion with gifts and words. If they love you, they will love you for themselves. But if they fear you, they will serve you for as long as they draw breath. Fear is the anchor. Fear is the foundation. You may wish to be remembered as just, as merciful, as beloved. But a dead ruler is remembered only by his enemies, and they will not speak kindly of you. Better to be remembered as harsh and alive than gentle and dethroned. Power is not a possession. It is a current you ride until it throws you off or until you master its flow. Mastery requires sacrifice, of illusions, of softness, of the need to be liked. It requires the courage to do what others will not, to see the world without sentiment, and to act with a hand steady as iron. There will be moments when you are tempted to forgive again, to believe that this time they will repay your kindness, that this time they will be loyal. Resist it. Test them before they test you. Strike before they strike you, for in the game of power, those who wait for proof of treachery often wait with a blade in their back. You thought mercy would save you, but mercy is only respected when it is rare, when it comes from a hand feared as much as it is honored. You were too generous, too patient, too eager to be understood. And that is why you were used. You have seen how they smile when they need you, and how quickly that smile curdles into contempt when they no longer fear you. This is not anomaly. It is the pattern of power. A man's loyalty is not tethered to his memory of your favors, but to his sense of danger, to the sharp awareness that crossing you will cost more than it yields. You must stop asking why they are this way. They are this way because nature made them so, because hunger is older than gratitude, because fear is more enduring than love. You have been told that forgiveness elevates you, that to rise above vengeance is a mark of greatness. But in the arena of power, forgiveness is often a signal that you are unwilling to enforce the limits of your authority, that you can be tested without consequence. When they see that signal, they do not feel admiration, they feel opportunity. They do not become loyal, they become bold, and boldness is the first symptom of rebellion. Every structure requires a foundation. For power, that foundation is necessity. They must need you. They must believe their fortunes are tied to yours. Strip that away, and all that remains is calculation how to take from you what you have built, how to stand over the ruins you leave behind. You cannot disarm ambition with kindness. You cannot tame envy with gifts. Those who hunger for your place will not be satisfied until they possess it, and those who envy your strength will never rest until they have broken it. You imagine you can persuade them to stop wanting what they want. You cannot. You can only make them too afraid to reach for it. Look back and see the path you have taken. How many times did you let a slight pass? How many insults did you absorb, believing they would not escalate? How many small betrayals did you excuse, hoping they were accidents rather than warnings? Each time you hesitated, you taught them something about you. You taught them you would rather endure than punish, rather appease than confront, and they learned quickly. Understand this: there are only two kinds of people in your orbit, those who fear you and those who will test you. If you allow fear to fade, if you allow testing to go unpunished, you will soon have only the second kind, and when they come for you, there will be no warning. There never is. You believe you can rule as a man among equals. You believe power can coexist with friendship, with openness, with trust. It cannot. Friendship in power is often an illusion, an instrument they use to draw closer, to study your weaknesses, to lower your guard. The ruler who longs to be loved like an equal is already halfway to the scaffold. The time for softness is over. You must decide what kind of figure you wish to be in their minds. If you want to be a memory, continue as you are. Forgive them again. Excuse them again. Delay the reckoning again, and soon you will find yourself stripped of power, a cautionary tale told in hushed tones. Or you can choose another path. You can become the figure they speak of with measured words, the one whose anger is quiet but absolute, whose punishment is rare but final, whose favor is precious because it is not granted lightly. That is the ruler who survives. The world does not care for your ideals. It does not honor your patience. It rewards only the vigilant, the decisive, the cold. Men are quick to exploit what they perceive as weakness, and even quicker to flee when they feel the weight of true authority. Show them that weight. Teach them to measure every word, every move, every thought when they stand before you. This is not cruelty. This is clarity. To rule without clarity is to invite chaos, and chaos consumes the merciful first. You tell yourself you are different, that you will not become hard, that you will not descend into ruthlessness. But hardness is not a descent. It is an ascent into reality. It is the only armor thin enough to move and thick enough to endure. Without it, you are a lamb among wolves. You were too forgiving. That is why you were used. Do not mistake this as a call to rage. Anger clouds the mind, and a ruler cannot afford a clouded mind. This is not about vengeance, it is about survival. When you act, act not in heat, but in precision. Let them see not your fury, but your inevitability. Let them understand that betrayal carries a cost no one is willing to pay. That is the greatest deterrent, not brutality for its own sake, but punishment so certain that rebellion dies in the womb. Fear does not mean terror in every heart, nor cruelty on every street. It means respect. It means consequence. It means that when they speak your name, they do so with care, because they know the balance of their lives depends on your favor. This is how power is secured, not through affection, not through noble words, but through the quiet mastery of necessity. Give them no reason to believe they can live without you. You thought you could lead by appealing to their better nature. You thought they would see the burdens you carry and rally to you out of gratitude. But men do not rally to burdens. They rally to strength. They rally to fear of losing what they hold dear, and if they do not fear you, they will not hesitate to devour you. Do not look for fairness here. Do not look for justice as you imagined it. Look only for what works, what endures, what keeps you on the throne while others are swept away. You were too forgiving. That is why you were used. Now you know. You were too forgiving, and in that forgiveness, you taught them the most dangerous lesson of all, that you can be wounded without consequence, that you can be crossed without reprisal. They took your silence for consent, your patience for weakness, your generosity for a lack of resolve, and now you see the price. For every kindness unbalanced by strength invites boldness, and boldness in others is the slow unraveling of authority. They will not tell you this. They will never admit it, aloud. But in their hearts, they have weighed you. They have measured your will. They have whispered to themselves that you lack the courage to be feared. They tell each other that your power is borrowed, that it can be seized without ruin. And so they circle you like vultures, waiting for your hesitation, for your doubt, for the moment you shrink from necessity. Do you understand now? To forgive is not always a sign of strength. It is sometimes a signal flare, an announcement to the ambitious that you lack the iron to enforce your command. Forgiveness without the shadow of fear is an invitation to be used. This is the first law of power. The world you inhabit is not bound by your ideals. It is shaped by appetite and fear, by force and perception. You can either mold it to your will, or you can be molded by the will of others. There is no third path. You imagine that gratitude would tether them to you. You believe that generosity would purchase their loyalty. But gratitude is a frail chain, easily broken. Men remember your gifts only until the next man offers them more. They love you only until loving you becomes inconvenient. They serve you only so long as service suits their ambition. Fear, however, binds deeper. Fear lingers where gratitude fades. Fear enforces where love falters. Fear is not the enemy of loyalty. It is its necessary root. A man who fears you has no choice but to consider you in every calculation. A man who does not fear you has already begun to scheme. You were too eager to be understood, too willing to explain, to reason, to make allowances, and in doing so, you forgot that authority is not a conversation. Authority is a presence, an unspoken weight that must be felt in every chamber, every counsel, every whisper behind closed doors. When they cease to feel that weight, they cease to respect it. Do you believe they are satisfied with what they have? Do you imagine that ambition sleeps, that envy grows weary? No, ambition is tireless, envy is insatiable. The moment you seem vulnerable, the moment they suspect you lack the will to punish, they will move against you not openly at first, but in whispers, in small disobediences, in careful tests of how far they can push, and if you do not respond, those tests will grow bolder until they no longer bother to hide their intentions. Do not think that punishing them will make you hated. They already hate you for holding what they covet. Do not think that striking them down will breed more rebellion. It is hesitation, not severity, that invites rebellion. The man who punishes without passion, who strikes only when necessary but with absolute force, is the man who commands a lasting peace. You have been told that power is a burden to be carried with humility, that your role is to serve rather than to rule. But this is a comforting lie, told to keep rulers docile, to make them forget that they exist, not to please but to impose. A ruler who refuses to impose his will is not a ruler for long. Ask yourself, how many times have you been betrayed? How many promises broken? How many oaths dissolved the moment it was convenient? Each time you forgave, you planted the seed of the next betrayal. Each time you spared them, you assured them there would be no cost. They thanked you with words, and with actions they undermined you, and still you forgave, believing that magnanimity would win their hearts. It did not win their hearts. It purchased their contempt. Now you stand at a crossroads. One path leads back to the same cycle. Forgive, be betrayed, forgive again, and be devoured in the end. The other path is colder, but it is the only one that endures. On that path, you do not forgive lightly. You do not excuse the inexcusable. You do not flinch when necessity demands severity. You enforce the balance of fear and respect, and you let no one forget that your authority is not to be tested. If you wish to survive, you must stop asking whether they deserve punishment and ask only whether punishing them secures your rule. You must stop hoping they will love you and ensure they fear to oppose you. You must stop believing in the world as you wish it to be and rule in the world as it is. Do you want to be remembered? Then survive. Do you want your name to endure? Then outlast those who would erase it. Do you want to leave a legacy? Then hold your power with both hands, even if they tremble at first, until they learn that those hands do not release what they have seized. You were too forgiving. That is why you were used. The next time, let them feel the weight of your will. Let them learn that your patience is not limitless, that your mercy is not weakness, that your justice, when it comes, is swift and final. This is the only language ambition understands. You think there will be time to act later, that you can wait for clearer proof, for a better moment. There is no later. There is no better moment. Power is not patient. It demands resolve now, or it abandons you. Do you hesitate still? Then look ahead and see the road of hesitation. It ends in exile, in disgrace, in death. It ends with your name spoken in mockery, with your former allies dividing your spoils, with your enemies writing the story of your failure. Or you can choose the harder road, the road where you kill hesitation, where you put necessity above comfort, where you become not the ruler they wish for, but the ruler they fear to cross. That road is narrow, lonely, merciless, but it is the only one that leads to survival. This is the truth. There is no room for softness in the heart of power. There is only clarity. Clarity to see men as they are, not as they pretend to be. Clarity to strike when the time comes, without apology, without remorse. Clarity to rule without being ruled. You were too forgiving. That is why you were used. And if you do not change, you will be used again. Do not think you are immune to the laws that bind all rulers. Do not imagine that your intentions, your sacrifices, your sleepless nights will shield you from the truth. They will not remember your kindness when the chance comes to seize what you have built. They will not weigh your humanity when their ambition burns hotter than their fear. There is only one question you must answer. Will you be the one who commands, or the one who pleads? Will you leave your mark as the architect of order, or as another name trampled into the dust by those who hungered for your throne? Power does not forgive those who hesitate. It does not reward those who long to be loved. It is a current, and you are either swimming against it with unflinching resolve, or you are already being dragged under. Remember this. It is not cruelty that preserves your rule, but necessity. It is not mercy that inspires loyalty, but consequence. It is not love that sustains power, but fear balanced by respect. When they speak your name in quiet rooms, let them speak it carefully. Let them know you are not a man to be tested, not a ruler to be mocked, not a presence to be ignored. Let them know that to cross you is to wager everything and lose. If you would endure, you must be prepared to let go of the comfort of being understood. You must wear the mask of patience, but keep the blade of necessity sharp beneath your robe. Smile if you must, but let your enemies see only the reflection of their own fear in your eyes. They will call you ruthless. Let them. They will call you cold. Let them. Better to be feared than pitied. Better to be envied than devoured. Better to be remembered as iron than erased as a fool. You were too forgiving. That is why you were used. But you will not be used again. From this day forward, let your mercy be rare and your justice inexorable. Let your hand be steady and your will unshakable. Let them learn that the man they once thought pliable has become the master they dare not defy. This is not the world you wished for. It is the world that is. Rule it or be ruled. Strike or be struck. Command or be commanded. There is no other way. In the end, power belongs to those who take it, who hold it, and who never let it go. Now decide. Will you remain the forgiving fool they used, or will you become the force they cannot escape? The hour is late. The wolves are circling. The choice is yours.